7 Secret Jewish Rules for Making Money. Have you ever wondered why Jewish people make up less than 0.2% of the world's population, but account for more than 20% of Nobel Prize winners and an astonishing percentage of successful business owners and investors? What if I told you their financial success isn't random, but follows specific principles that have been refined and passed down through generations for over 3,000 years? Think about this. In America today, 30% of billionaires come from Jewish backgrounds, despite being only 2% of the population. This isn't coincidence or luck. It's the result of a deliberate financial philosophy that most of us have never been taught. The ancient Talmudic wisdom that guided financial decisions thousands of years ago is surprisingly more relevant today than ever before. While most Americans are drowning in consumer debt and living paycheck to paycheck, these time-tested principles continue creating wealth for those who understand and apply them. Today, I'm going to share the 7 most powerful money rules that Jewish wealth builders have used for centuries. Principles that have created more millionaires and successful entrepreneurs than any other cultural tradition. These are the foundational strategies that have weathered every economic storm, from ancient trade routes to today's digital economy. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to apply these principles to your own financial journey. Whether you're trying to grow your business, build wealth for retirement, or create long-term financial security for your family. And in the final rule, I'll share a specific wealth-building strategy that most financial advisors won't tell you. If you're serious about changing your financial future, hit the subscribe button and notification bell now so you never miss our weekly wealth-building insights. And leave a comment with the title Wealth Builder so I can see who is committed to applying these principles. Now, let's dig deeper into the ancient money rules that have created wealth and prosperity for generations. 1. The Female Financial Gateway Rule. The first rule in Jewish business wisdom is profoundly simple, yet overlooked by most business strategists. Understand and serve the needs of women first. For centuries, Jewish merchants recognized what modern market research has only recently confirmed. Women control approximately 85% of all consumer spending in America. Let me explain why this matters so deeply to your financial success. In the traditional household, men might earn the paycheck, but women typically make the purchasing decisions for the entire family. From household necessities to major investments, women either directly control or heavily influence how money flows through the economy. Famous entrepreneur Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, understood this principle perfectly. As a female entrepreneur, she identified a need that women had, but no one was addressing effectively. Her billion-dollar company was built on understanding and solving a specific problem for women, not trying to sell to everyone. Warren Buffett applies this principle differently, but just as effectively. His Berkshire Hathaway has heavily invested in companies that understand the female consumer, from Coca-Cola to Costco to American Express. He once said, "When a girl decides she doesn't want to buy a product, no one can change her mind." This principle isn't about excluding men from your business strategy. It's about recognizing who truly controls the flow of money. If you're building a business, developing a product, or creating a service, ask yourself, does this appeal to women, either directly or as family gatekeepers? If the answer is no, you're missing the most powerful economic force in the marketplace. To implement this principle today, conduct deeper research into how women in your target market make decisions. What concerns drive their choices? What values do they prioritize? How do they evaluate options? Then adjust your business approach accordingly. The businesses that thrive aren't necessarily those with the best products, but those that best understand their true customer. 2. The 80-20 Wealth Concentration Strategy. Long before Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto identified the 80-20 principle in 1896, Jewish merchants were applying this concept to their business strategies. They recognized that approximately 20% of the population controlled 80% of the wealth, a ratio remarkably consistent throughout history and across cultures. This observation led to a counterintuitive business approach. Instead of trying to sell to everyone, focus intensely on serving the needs of those who already control significant resources. In Jewish business tradition, this meant developing products, services, and experiences specifically for those with means to pay premium prices. Consider the strategy of Jewish real estate developer Stephen Ross, founder of related companies and worth over $7 billion. Instead of building housing for the mass market, he focused on luxury developments for the affluent in prime locations. His Hudson Yards project in Manhattan, the largest private real estate development in U.S. history, was designed specifically for the affluent segment of society. This principle extends beyond just targeting wealthy customers. It means understanding that in your own business or investment portfolio, roughly 20% of your efforts produce 80% of your results. Most people dilute their energy trying to be everything to everyone, while the truly successful identify and double down on their most productive activities. The practical application for you is twofold. First, analyze your current customers, investments, or work activities to identify which 20% produces most of your results. Then, ruthlessly reallocate resources to expand this highly productive segment while gradually reducing investment in low-return activities. Second, when launching new ventures, deliberately position yourself to serve those with greater resources. This doesn't mean abandoning ethical standards or only pursuing luxury markets. It means understanding where resources are concentrated in your specific field and directing your energy accordingly. Remember, this isn't about excluding people. It's about being strategically efficient with your limited time and resources to create maximum value for yourself and others. 3. The essential needs investment principle. The third rule of Jewish wealth building focuses on investing in businesses that serve fundamental human needs rather than fleeting desires. Throughout history, Jewish merchants and business owners have gravitated toward industries that fulfill basic necessities: food, clothing, shelter, and health. Why does this matter? Because these industries remain resilient through economic downturns, technological disruptions, and changing trends. People might postpone buying a new car or taking a vacation during tough times, but they will always need to eat, dress, and care for their health. Howard Schultz, who built Starbucks into a global empire, understood this principle deeply. While coffee might seem like a luxury, Schultz positioned it as an essential daily ritual, a third place between home and work that fulfilled the fundamental human need for community and connection. By elevating coffee from a commodity to an essential experience, he created a business that thrives in nearly any economic climate. The wisdom here isn't just about selling necessities. It's about recognizing and investing in what people consider essential to their lives, which can evolve over time. Today, internet access and smartphones have become as essential to modern life as food and clothing were to previous generations. To apply this principle, evaluate your current business, career, or investment portfolio. How much of your financial future depends on products or services people can easily eliminate when times get tough? Consider pivoting toward areas that fulfill essential, non-negotiable needs within your field of expertise. The restaurant industry has a 60% failure rate within the first year, yet certain food businesses thrive decade after decade. The difference? Understanding that while dining out might be optional, certain food experiences become essential rituals in people's lives. The morning coffee, the Friday night pizza, the Sunday brunch. Position yourself to provide what people consider essential, not just desirable. This principle doesn't mean avoiding innovation or new markets. Rather, it encourages you to connect your offerings to fundamental human needs that persist regardless of economic conditions or technological change. 4. The intellectual capital advantage. The fourth Jewish wealth principle revolves around using intellect as your primary tool for creating wealth. Throughout history, when Jews faced persecution and had their physical property confiscated, they learned a profound lesson. Knowledge and intellectual capital are the only assets that can never be taken away. This principle explains why Jewish families have historically placed such enormous emphasis on education. Not just formal schooling, but the development of critical thinking, analysis, and problem-solving skills. They recognize that true wealth creation begins in the mind. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's business partner, exemplifies this principle perfectly. Though not Jewish himself, his approach mirrors this wisdom. I've long believed that a certain system, which almost any intelligent person can learn, works way better than the systems most people use. What you need is a latticework of mental models in your head. The application of this principle is practical, not theoretical. It means investing in your knowledge and thinking skills before or alongside investing money. It means developing expertise in recognizing opportunities, analyzing markets, and understanding human psychology, skills that generate returns far beyond traditional investments. Look at Sergey Brin and Larry Page, co-founders of Google. Their wealth didn't come from starting with large capital investments, but from applying intellectual problem-solving to create a better search algorithm. They used intellect to create $1 trillion company from essentially nothing. This principle has profound implications for your wealth-building journey. Instead of just asking, "What should I invest in?" first ask, "What knowledge do I need to become a better investor and decision-maker?" The most valuable investment is often in developing your own intellectual capital. To implement this principle, establish a personal knowledge investment plan. Dedicate specific time each week to developing expertise in your field, understanding financial fundamentals, and improving your decision-making skills. This might include reading books, taking courses, finding mentors, or analyzing case studies of success and failure in your industry. Remember, in today's knowledge economy, your earning potential is directly tied to the quality of your thinking and the uniqueness of your insights. Physical assets depreciate, but intellectual capital compounds over time. 5. The Unbreakable Trust Foundation. The fifth principle of Jewish wealth creation centers on something more valuable than money itself: trust and reputation. For centuries, Jewish merchants operated across vast trade networks spanning Europe, Asia, and Africa, often in regions where they had no legal protection or recourse if deals went wrong. In this challenging environment, they developed extraordinary standards of reliability and honesty, understanding that a trustworthy reputation was literally worth more than gold. Their word became their bond, and this reputation for integrity allowed them to create wealth even in hostile environments. This principle remains profoundly relevant today. In our interconnected economy, trust has become the ultimate currency. Companies like Amazon and Apple command premium prices, largely because consumers trust their consistency and quality. Financial institutions rise or fall based on market trust in their stability and honesty. Consider the case of Saul Price, founder of Price Club, which later merged with Costco. His entire business model was built on trust, charging membership fees in exchange for consistently honest pricing and quality. By establishing absolute reliability in an industry known for misleading promotions and hidden costs, he created a retail revolution and immense wealth. Jewish tradition teaches that there are two forms of wealth: Osher Shamor, which means wealth kept for its owner, and Osher Lo Shamor, meaning wealth not kept for its owner. The difference is determined by whether wealth was acquired honestly and ethically. Only ethically acquired wealth endures across generations. Implementing this principle means making integrity the non-negotiable foundation of all your business and financial dealings. It means keeping promises even when they become inconvenient or costly. It means transparent communication with customers, investors, and partners, especially when problems arise. Warren Buffett puts it simply: it takes 20 years to build a reputation, and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. His Berkshire Hathaway shareholder letters are famous for their candid discussion of both successes and failures. A transparency that has built extraordinary trust with investors. In practical terms, this principle means sometimes sacrificing short-term gains for long-term trust. It means not cutting corners legally or ethically, even when everyone else is doing it. It means admitting mistakes quickly and making them right. The return on integrity compounds over time. As your reputation for trustworthiness grows, you'll find opportunities, partnerships, and resources becoming available that remain closed to those without established credibility. 6. The prophetic business vision method. The sixth principle in Jewish wealth creation involves developing what might be called prophetic business vision. The ability to anticipate market and societal changes before they become obvious to everyone else. This isn't mystical foresight, but rather a disciplined approach to understanding trends and their implications. In Hebrew tradition, a prophet wasn't primarily someone who predicted the future, but someone who could clearly see the present reality and understand its logical consequences. Similarly, business prophets don't predict random future events. They deeply understand current patterns and project them forward. Bernard Marcus and Arthur Blank, founders of Home Depot, exemplified this principle when they recognized the emerging DIY home improvement trend in the 1970s. While most retailers were moving toward specialty shops, they envisioned massive warehouses where homeowners could find everything needed for projects at wholesale prices. They didn't just spot a trend, they understood its deeper implications for retail strategy. The Talmud teaches, "Who is wise? One who sees the future consequences of their actions." This wisdom extends perfectly to business and investing. Financial success comes not from predicting random events, but from understanding the inevitable consequences of current trends. Reed Hastings demonstrated this prophetic business vision when he pivoted Netflix from DVD rentals to streaming, years before broadband made streaming truly convenient. He didn't just adapt to change, he positioned his company for a future he could see coming by studying technological trends and consumer behavior patterns. To implement this principle, develop systematic practices for trend analysis in your industry and adjacent fields. This includes regular study of demographic changes affecting your market, deep understanding of technological developments that could disrupt your industry, analysis of regulatory and political trends that might create opportunities or threats, observation of early adopters and innovators whose behaviors often predict future mainstream trends. Jewish business tradition emphasizes the concept of seeing beyond the horizon, looking not just at the next step, but several steps ahead. This means asking not just what's changing now, but what will be the secondary and tertiary effects of these changes. Remember, prophetic business vision isn't about dramatic, sweeping predictions. It's about disciplined observation, logical reasoning, and the courage to act on your conclusions before consensus forms. 7. The resource leverage system. The final and perhaps most powerful Jewish wealth principle is the strategic leveraging of resources, using other people's money, talents, knowledge, and networks to achieve goals that would be impossible with your resources alone. This principle transforms limited personal resources into virtually unlimited potential. William Rigson, a Jewish economist quoted in the original material, captured this concept perfectly. You can borrow everything from money, talent, and technology to knowledge. The world has prepared all the resources you need. Your job is to gather and intelligently combine them. This principle stands in stark contrast to the self-reliant mindset that dominates American culture. Most people believe they need to personally possess all the resources required for success. Money, skills, connections, and knowledge. This self-imposed limitation keeps many perpetually stuck. The Jewish approach is fundamentally collaborative. It recognizes that intelligent partnerships and resource sharing create possibilities far beyond individual capacity. This explains why Jewish business communities historically developed sophisticated lending networks, apprenticeship systems, and knowledge-sharing practices. Mark Zuckerberg's early development of Facebook illustrates this principle perfectly. Rather than trying to fund the company's growth himself or develop every technical skill needed, he leveraged other people's money, venture capital, other people's talents, hiring key engineers, other people's platforms, existing internet infrastructure, and ultimately other people's content, user-generated posts and media. To implement this principle in your financial journey, begin by conducting a thorough inventory, not of what resources you have, but of what resources you need. Then, instead of asking, how can I acquire these resources, ask, who already has these resources, and how can we create mutual benefit? This might mean seeking investment partners for business or real estate ventures, forming mastermind groups to share specialized knowledge, establishing strategic alliances with complementary businesses, or structuring creative financing arrangements. Michael Dell built his computer empire on this principle. Rather than investing in massive inventory, he created a build-to-order system that used customer payments to finance inventory purchases, effectively using customer money to fund operations. This allowed rapid scaling without proportional capital investment. The key insight is that you don't need to own all the resources required for success. You simply need to control or direct them through mutually beneficial arrangements. This expands your possibilities exponentially while reducing risk and capital requirements. We've explored 7 ancient wealth principles that have guided Jewish business success for generations. Focusing on female decision-makers, concentrating efforts where wealth exists, investing in essential needs, developing intellectual capital, building unbreakable trust, cultivating prophetic business vision, and mastering resource leverage. These principles aren't simple tactics or get-rich-quick schemes. They represent a comprehensive philosophy of wealth creation that has withstood the test of time across radically different economies, technologies, and social systems. The wisdom contained in these 7 principles isn't exclusive to any cultural or religious tradition. It's universal knowledge that's available to anyone willing to study and apply it. The patterns of wealth creation remain remarkably consistent across time and culture. If you found value in these insights, please hit the like button and share this video with someone who could benefit from these principles. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to join our community of wealth builders who are applying timeless wisdom to modern financial challenges. I'd love to know which of these 7 principles resonated most strongly with you, or which one you're planning to implement first. Leave a comment below with Principle Hamber and share your thoughts. Your insight might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear. Remember, true wealth isn't just about accumulating money. It's about creating value, serving others, and building something meaningful that can sustain you and your family for generations to come. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in our next video.